Hey pal, generally, people like to say that Final Fantasy XIV doesn't waste your time. But if you do want to waste your time, there are a ton of ways that the game can enable you to. With mounts, titles, and achievements, players can go the extra mile to demonstrate and show off proficiency and excellence at playing the game. Titles like the Necromancer, which is granted for soloing all 200 floors of the Palace of Dead solo without dying, is impressive. But the following achievements are reserved for those simply willing to spend a massive amount of time playing the game. Number 8. The Vanguard title is a reward for winning 300 games of Frontline PvP. Frontline is a big PvP game mode, with 3 teams battling each other to complete certain objectives that varies based off the map. To get this title, it would take an average of 900 games, as there are 3 teams and only one can win each match. And these games take about 20 minutes, so it would take about 300 hours straight of PvP action. I'm honestly surprised that would only take 300 hours, as only doing just 10% of this has already driven me up a wall. Number 7. The Leader of the Pack title is gained from participating in 5,000 matches of Crystalline Conflict. Each match of this 5v5 PvP game mode takes about 5 minutes. Some matches can be finished in 30 seconds, and some can take 7 minutes due to overtime. You can usually queue into a match in about 2 to 3 minutes during active hours, so focusing on this title will take you about 420 hours of playing PvP. Once again, a PvP grind, so it may feel like it's longer than it actually is. Number 6. What do you pronounce that?
Pteranodon.
Oh. The Pteranodon Mount is a reward for getting 500 Skyward score points on every single crafting and gathering class for the Ishgardian Restoration. Although the restoration project is complete, you can still craft and gather items for the rewards. This is an absolute ton of grinding, as 500,000 is a ton of points. Each normal craft gives about 3 to 25 points, and each expert craft gives about 175 to 820 points. Note that there's a leaderboard that was tracking how many points each people got during each patch. So you could see in my server, only 3 people got over 500,000 points in Alchemist during the final patch. And while that's a lot of time you have to spend on crafting, the longer grind is the gathering classes, with people claiming that you can get about 6,000 to 10,000 points an hour. I'm not all that familiar with the minigame, but I estimate that it will take about 450 hours if you follow all the correct strategies. Number 5. The Fortunate title is a reward for completing 10,000 fates. You know, those little world quests where you can complete alone or with a team. Most people don't do many of these, as the rewards are not all that good. But for those grinding this out, even if they spend at max 3 minutes per fate, that is still 500 hours of flying around from fate to fate. So, good luck if you're going for this one. Number 4. How do you pronounce this?
Astrobe.
The Astrobe Mount is a reward for getting 1,500 Mentor Roulettes. There's a grind just to unlock the Mentor Roulette, as it requires a player to first gain 1,500 commendations, to do all level 90 role quests, and to have done all the instances required. This fact alone will take hundreds of hours of your time grinding just to unlock the grind. But once you do finally unlock the roulette, you basically fill in for whatever instance requires somebody. This can be as quick as doing a guild test, which takes about 40 seconds, or as long as an extreme trial where you're tasked on leading sprouts for about an hour, as no one really understands mechanics and the instance just times out. While the amount of time taken will be different for everyone, I estimate this grind will be about 700 to 900 hours in length, and that's not even including the time you'll spend gaining all the requirements to do the grind. Number 3. The Ultimate Thrillseeker is a title gained from slaying 10,000 S-rank hunt mobs. For those who don't know, S-rank hunt mobs are those world bosses who spawn between a minimum and maximum amount of time. And when a trigger happens, such as a player dying or throwing away a certain amount of items, once spawn, all players nearby will be alerted to the appearance, and everyone will try to swarm the mob. This is due to a lot of people looking at the Centuro Hunts Discord that will tell you when such mobs spawn. Due to the timer, there's a limited amount of S ranks that can spawn, and it usually requires you to hop world servers to kill each one. And also note, getting just 1,000 of these kills is usually a massive grind in itself, which will get you a pretty cool mount. Now getting 10,000, that's a crazy achievement considering as most of these mobs take about 85 hours to respawn. Being kinda generous and getting around 7 kills an hour, this will still take you 750 hours to complete. Number 2. Luckiest of Lords / Ladies is a title that you get from clearing the final room of the Hidden Canals of Ulzare 20 times. Unlike most other treasure dungeons, these require a special type of map called the Thieves Map. These only drop in other Stormblood treasure dungeons. These maps are kind of a rare reward, and I'd say you might get one for every 10 dungeons you run. After that, it's all about luck getting to the final room. There are 7 rooms, and each one has a good chance of getting you kicked out. Calculating the time that it will take for you to get this title will be a bit more difficult due to the crazy amount of luck. From what I'm experienced, I'd expect one completion every 150 hours, meaning that this title will take about 3,000 hours. Although you can speed it up by getting others to bring their own Thieves maps. Number 1, recently added in 6.25, is the Accursed title, which requires you to get 20,000 pieces of the Accursed Hoard. These are hidden rewards that you obtain from participating in one of the 3 deep dungeons. Using a Promanter of Intuition allows the player to discover where these hoards are located, and players will receive wards after they complete 10 floors of the deep dungeons. Usually for every 10 floors you can expect about 3 to 4 hoards to be found. Depending on what layers of floors you're doing, this can easily take about 30 to 45 minutes to complete each set of 10 floors. I estimate that focusing on this title would take over 3,500 hours. That's 150 days of playtime. Adding up all the hours for all these 8 achievements will be about 10,370 hours to obtain just 8 achievements in this game. That's 432 days of playtime. Now, that's a lot of time, but it only takes 2 seconds to press that subscribe button. Thank you all, and see you later.